Base Nation, what is good? What is good? Happy Saturday. So I'm back with another stream. I really apologize for last stream. That stream was we were interrupted, but honestly, I couldn't help it. I had to. So sometimes priorities take, precedence. So I had to go, but so I apologize for that. But if you didn't watch any of that last stream, go check it out. It's actually pretty important to know, your childhood traumas and how you can unwind that stuff. But I might do that stream over again because it was so half-assed. I need to do a better job of explaining it. But anyway, I found my groove. I'm gonna start streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays now. So yeah, start tapping in. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys know when I'm streaming live. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Robb Based. I'm a dating and relationship coach from Canada. I started helping out fathers with their divorce, but now I'm branching out to help guys 18 to 35. So if that is you, you're in the right place. All right. So welcome. I'm currently on the West Coast, but was born and raised in Toronto. So shout out if anybody's listening in from those regions. But I write books, I create content, I host seminars, but more importantly, I did this stuff all behind the scenes for, I don't know, like 6-7 years now. And I want to evolve my content. So I'm going to give away pretty much all the sauce in these next videos. I'm pretty much going to give you everything that I know. It's because I want to create the content that I want to create, and I want to also level you guys up so you guys get up to speed with all the dating information that I have, kind of like stored up in there. And I want to give it all away for free because I think a lot of guys are struggling, and I think this information is better out there than in my head. So yeah, that is why I am doing this here on a Saturday night. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick to that schedule. I think Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays. I think it seems fair to me in terms of time, investing my time. And the reason why I put one on a Saturday is because look, this year I'm really focused in on building my wealth. Okay, so like last year, so here's the thing. Okay, for me, I have this thing in my head where I was so closed-minded before. I don't know. I never really liked to do anything new. I like to think. I like to stick to things that were familiar, and I had a routine, which is good. Don't get me wrong. I still have routine. I'm still that way. Okay, but I learned how to be a little bit more open-minded to certain things. And so my mantra every year or whenever I'm about to start something new is like, you know what? Let me just try it for a year and see what happens. Okay. And so last year, I focused on the gym, focused on my health. And I was like, look, for 1 year, I'm going to just focus on my health. Okay. I'm going to X out anything else that's not important, that's not going to help my health. And I'm just not going to do anything other than that. Okay. And so for this year, I'm just going to focus on my finances. Okay. And then obviously you can pour into whatever cup that you want to pour into, but this is just me. All right. This is how I kind of do things. And so for this new year, again, I'm going to be focusing on, obviously dating and relationship stuff as well, but also like, I think investing money, those kinds of things, like as a newbie, right? Like, all those kinds of things matter. All right. So, I'm not going to be saying that, I'm some expert or anything, but we're going to be learning together. All right. So that's pretty much the journey. But anyway, my second book is pretty much almost done. It's called Break Her Bed, Not Her Heart. It's an average man's guide to pretty much modern relationships. It's going to be, like I said, everything I know. And these streams are kind of helping me put all of this into play. Obviously, my book explains these concepts a lot better. But some of you guys maybe don't want to read books And then also for me, content wise, I do these long form content because I chop them up, I put them into little reels, and maybe that's how you guys are watching me on YouTube right now. But I put them on reels and shorts, and because I know a lot of people just like want, they want the bar. They just want that one hard hitting little quote or whatever, and that's it, right? They don't want to go over these kinds of like these topics that have a lot of nuance to them, right? You can't just be like, yeah, you got to go on Tinder, Bumble, and Hinge. Like, what does that mean, right? Like, what, like, okay, great. Now I'm on there. Now, what is my strategy when I'm on there, right? Like, how do I talk to these girls? How do I get them on a date? Like, what am I supposed to do, right? And it can get really confusing if you don't have a structure. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And then I'm going to focus on so once that book is done, I'm going to focus on building the community too. This is the last bit of housekeeping that I have, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes of the content. But I'm going to focus on the community. So you're probably watching, if you're watching here on Rumble, I've kind of started, it's called Base Nation. Okay. And it's going to be a community for guys, like I said, 18 to 35. Water's warm. But it's so we can all level up together. That's the missing component that a lot of guys are missing, actually. I know that sounds so redundant. The missing component, okay, that a lot of guys have is they don't have community. They have a lack of community. They don't have guys in their circle that just get it, because a lot of people are blue pill, a lot of people are conditioned, they're in the matrix, right? They're just not aware of what's going on, and it's hard to be friends with those guys because for you see the truth for what it is, and they refuse to see it because of whatever reasons. But it's not your job to shove a red pill down their throat. They're gonna find it at some point. Your job is that you already found it, and you're just here trying to figure out, okay, how am I supposed to navigate now that I know all this information? So, that's kind of what it is. And I'm not trying to be like some red pill masturbator here over here, and trying to like be some red pill ambassador. That's not what it is. I get a lot of my information from them, but in congruence with who I am, and um, with also like I talk to a lot of guys, you know what I mean? And not everybody wants to go out there and run harems and be a player for the rest of their life. A lot of people just want to find that one girl, okay, that they can invest more or less all of their time with, and start a family with, and create a legacy. And I'm speaking to those guys right now. Okay, those men that want to obviously build themselves up to a point where, look, I messed up in my 20s. I did it all backwards, okay? What I did in my 30s is what I should have done in my 20s. Okay? And what I did in my 20s is what I should have did in my 30s. Minus all the drug peddling and stuff like that. But I'm saying like I did it all backwards, and I live kind of life in the fast lane. And I think if I did this, obviously, if I just shifted this decade over to that decade, I would have been fine. All right. But that's why I do this, because, again, I wish I had this information, handed to me when I was 20. And so if you're 18 to 35, Base Nation is going to be a group where, again, a lot of us are going to come together, and we're going to build this community, and we're going to build ourselves up so that we have a strong group of brothers that that truly support the cause, the journey, the movement, and everything along with it. And hopefully you guys meet some friends for life, because honestly, like, good people are hard to come by, and when you find good people, you want to keep them as close as possible, and near and dear to you, right? And so this is part of the journey in finding these people, right? How do we find and locate these amazing people? Because they're out there, right? It's hard. I know it's like easy to like um what is it, like, go out there and be negative and start thinking that, like, everyone's pretty much like devil worshiping, and they're all like, hard. It's hard to find good men out there to be friends with, and I get that. So Anyhow, um, so why I do this, and Base Nation is going to be a group where, obviously, when I learned to build this community up on like Discord and everything, we're gonna be all in, connection with each other. We can all talk to each other, ask questions, um, post results, hold each other accountable, right? Hit our goals together. I think that's important because when you are trying to, like, I did this like alone, right? And like when I first started coaching, I went into this like group coaching program, and it was like sort of like an accountability thing. And basically, like when people are like breathing down your neck and asking you, like, "Hey, did you go do that thing that you said you're gonna do?" It almost forces you to go do that, so that that conversation you can say, "Yeah, I actually did. I did do that." So that's kind of like the goal with Base Nation, and obviously there's so many other nuanced things that go along with that too. But that's neither here nor there. That's obviously a little bit more down in the future when I start building a little bit more of an audience. Okay. So yeah, just support the cause, and stick around for the ride because it's going to be interesting. All right. So stay tuned. All right. I'm going to share my screen now, and hopefully you guys can see that. I've kind of updated this for 2024. I make these kinds of things for my clients. Okay, so when my clients come to me and they're like, freshly divorced, let's say, right, and they're like, "What do I do? I'm brand new to this thing. I've been, married for 25 years, and now I'm going out there and I'm single. I don't know what it's like. The landscape has changed. I have no idea, like, you know what I mean? Obviously this ain't you. Maybe it's you, who knows? Okay. But usually the guys that I helped, obviously, they're like 20, 30 years in marriage, and then they're in a great divorce and their kids are all grown up, and now they're fully trying to go out there. And so yeah, I make these little visuals and stuff like that to help, with learning, because obviously it's boring just to hear me talk all the time, right? So I create these things because obviously, again, not everyone is an auditory learner. Some people are visual learners. Some people are kinesthetic learners. Okay, some people are combinations of both. All right, but regardless of what it is, um, you're here um, to figure it all out. Okay, and so these things are good to know about yourself too, right? Like if you're an auditory guy, like podcasts, those are kind of the way to learn, right? Um, but if you're a visual guy or a kinesthetic person, then these streams, you should tune in and watch them. All right, because I create these things because, again, like sometimes people just need a visual aid to look at things so that it's simple. Because I could be saying a whole bunch of concepts, right, and it goes through one ear, not the other. I get it. So this is what I learned in my coaching, right? Having done so many of these consultations with people, all one-to-one, you know what I mean, and getting really intimate with their lives, right? Like I feel like I pretty much know so many of these like things back in like behind the scenes stuff. Like it's crazy. All right, so let's just get started, okay? We're gonna start at the bottom of the funnel. I know it sounds so crazy, all right, but we're gonna start at the bottom of the funnel on Instagram, okay? We're gonna talk a little bit about Instagram and why it's important, okay? The reason why Instagram is so important, I think the numbers were out. I think there was like, I don't know, close to like 2 or 3 billion people use Instagram, okay, all over the world. And that number is just going to keep going up. And the reason why you want to be on Instagram is because that's pretty much your modern day resume, all right, for dating, okay? And I know it sounds so cheesy, like you guys are going to think like, oh, um, I don't have time for social media, or maybe you do, but I would spend a little bit of time putting like you're making sure that everything is optimized on your Instagram. And the reason being is because that's where you're going to house all of your conversations, okay? So every single person you talk to, you're not gonna like get a close on the phone number. Sometimes it's the phone number. I'm gonna talk a little bit about that in a bit. But for the most part, when you're meeting new people, okay, you're gonna funnel them to your Instagram. All right. And if you have like some work stuff or other, like maybe you have like some stipulation as to why you can't have Instagram, um, and or you can't be on it or for some reason, then I would create like a burner one. All right, create what we call a Finsta account, and you have to get that started because, like I said, it's way easier to deal with all the people that you're going to put into this funnel on one platform. Okay. So, and like I said, I'm going to talk a little bit about why Instagram is really important later on when we talk a little bit about, you know, the dating and stuff. Okay. So I gave you guys a sneak peek of what's coming after this. All right. But for the first part here, we need to spend a little time on Instagram. Okay. So for Instagram, it's global and it's pretty okay. So it's pretty much all a no holds barred Royal Rumble. Okay, and there's new people coming in every 20, like pretty much second. Okay, and you have a new opponent coming in, and you're gonna get ready to fight them pretty much, and it's a battleground. And not only that, there's a lot of competition on there, and you have to. Well, first of all, man, I should have did a stream on archetypes and stuff like that. I think that's really important. Maybe I'll do that the next one. But your archetype, there's this concept that I talk about, and it's your archetype, right? When you pick your archetype, you're basically figuring out who is the guy that I want to be. Okay, the guy that I want to step into. Like, who is that guy that um like I don't know, for me, right? It's funny because okay, so for me, my archetype, I hate talking about this because I feel like I'm outing myself now. So it's so cheesy. This is why I wanted to like be behind the scenes and I don't want to create content and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'd rather just have the one-on-one consultations in Zoom because outing myself, it hurts me, right? It hurts like if a girl that I was if a girl that I was dating and she saw me doing this live stream right now, she'd be like, "What the fuck?" She's like, "I'm just a game. Like you're just playing a game with these girls." So so anyway, let me clarify. Okay, the game is like it's a game. All right, we can't be afraid of playing the game. It's a game. All right, and it is a numbers game, especially in the modern day. Okay, it's definitely a numbers game because a lot of women, especially the ones that you probably want, are inundated with, you know, thousands of guys, and they have their choice. Okay, so we need to really, you know, work harder to add to the leads and add to our funnel because, like I said, it's cutthroat out there. Okay, and it's getting even worse. All right, especially with all the competition. This is why guys are like doing plastic surgery and shit now. It's crazy. Okay. But girls started that trend like 40 years ago because they too were competing back then, right? They wanted all the top 10% guys, right? But when you're building your life up and you're constantly pouring into your, you know, your soul, your game, your freaking your body, you're just building yourself up to just become a beast. And when you do that, you deserve the top 10% of girls too, right? So this is part of it. And I think when you build up your Instagram and okay, so that's what I was saying. When you figure out what your archetype was, right? So for me, there's this archetype that I guess the funny thing is they made a name out of it, but it's called the Kevin Nguyen. And what that is just like this Vietnamese drug dealer, gangster slash whatever, right? And that's like an archetype. And his thing was like he goes after like ABGs, right? And he uses like boba or whatever to like, you know, lure them in, right? Like so that's the archetype. And so that's just how I look. I don't know. I've looked that way my entire life. And obviously, like, I've lived that lifestyle too. And so it was fitting for me. And I didn't have to be anybody. I'm just being me. This is just who I am, right? I have this RBF, and people just like always automatically assume when I'm in a club, I'm some drug dealer. I swear to God, people come up to me and ask me for coke, like MDMA, like they ask me for all kinds of shit when I'm at a club. I'm like, no, go away, bro. Like I don't do that, right? So anyway, um, that is my archetype. So my Instagram should look and fit that archetype, right? So, um, back in the day, I don't have it anymore, but back in the day, I used to have a Finsta, and that Finsta was kind of like, you know, my archetype, right? Like that Kevin Nguyen lifestyle or whatever, and that's kind of like the photos that I would post on my Instagram. I don't have that account anymore. I just use my personal account now. Um, and I just leave it at that. But for you, whatever your archetype is, right? Your lifestyle, okay, and everything that you portray yourself to be should be on that Instagram, okay? And you're kind of saying it without saying it, right? Like, so let's say you are, I don't know, an athlete, let's say, and you have pictures of you playing the sport that you play. Granted, good. That's the archetype that you are. So women are attracted to the women who are attracted to athletes or whatever will look at your Instagram and then they'll swoon over it because it's optimized for that athlete, right? So like if you look at other famous athletes, like look at, I don't know, like who's like Tom Brady, right? Like he's a good looking athlete. Look at like fuck man, I don't know, because this is gonna sound sus, right? Like why am I rating guys? But you guys get the point. Whoever your archetype is, right? Figure who that is and then kind of mimic your Instagram to look like that guy. Okay? Branding wise, right? Cuz it's sort of like I said, it's like your resume. It's like you're building a business which is yourself. You are the product. How would you market yourself via your Instagram? Okay? And I'm going to tell you why that's important in just a bit. All right. And you guys are going to think, why can't I do that with another thing? No, just don't. Just use Instagram. And then advanced game is having your threads as well, too. Okay. Yeah, I know this sounds like we're supporting freaking Zionist Zuck or whatever. Okay. But no, like just play the game. All right. You need Instagram to have a successful dating funnel, all right, in 2024. There's just no way around it, okay? So I sound like I'm still talking to my older my older gents, but if you guys are like 18 to 35, this is obviously it goes without saying, right? Like obviously you guys have your shit optimized. If you're not sure if your Instagram is optimized, stay tuned because I'm gonna get some of my friends, okay, to my female friends that are females, and my buddy who has a studio. I'm gonna try to invite them out, like maybe a couple hours or so at the studio, and I'm gonna do like hot girls rating guys' Instagrams or something like that. And so if you ever wanted your Instagram rated by like a hot girl, then I'll have my friends rate your Instagram and then see where we could use, improvement or whatever, like, you know what I mean? Because like obviously you don't want to give a baddie the ick, right? Because you thought something was tasteful on your Instagram and then it just turns out girls look at that and they interpret it XYZ. Okay. So we'll probably do that and see how that segment goes. If that segment doesn't do if it doesn't do well, then I'm probably not going to continue it. But either way, it's an offer. Okay. Anyway, so having your Instagram, okay, optimized is really important. Your archetype laid out, who you want to be for the rest of your life laid out is important. Okay. All of that is really important before you even started dating. And that's why I should have talked about all that before. But okay, let's just say you guys are already got your shit together. Okay, You guys have already gotten your shit together, okay? Meaning you're not living in your mom's basement. You got like a place to live in, you have a car, you have a job, okay? You have stability, and you have the ability to access funds to date and have fun and have a social life, okay? If you don't have any of those things, then don't date, okay? It's just not going to be fun for you, right? Because you're going to get the girl, but you're never going to retain her, okay? And she's just going to leave you hurting, and she's going to cheat on you, and then she's going to leave you for another guy who makes more money than you. And that's another thing, right? Like the hum like you guys have to eat your humble pie, right? There's always going to be someone better than you. There's always going to be someone better looking than you. There's always going to be someone who's smarter than you. You know what I'm saying? So we all have to take our humble pie, and we just have to run with it, okay? Anyway, so this next little bit right here, okay? Once you have all your Instagram stuff figured out, you're going to have to start pouring leads into your funnel, okay? And you're going to have these girls basically you're basically using this lead funnel to weed out any of the flakes, the time wasters, the ones who just like want dates and whatever, you know what I mean? Like they're just trying to you know, just like they're all lukewarm or whatever. You're just basically putting them through this meat grinder to figure out, okay, who is the quality meat? All right, who is the quality people that I want to spend the rest of my time with? All right, and we're going to talk a little bit about these things, okay? About how you should like build, um, you should look for these things, okay? Anyway, so dating apps. Now, each app has its own kind of like nuance, right? And I think the goal for dating apps is to showcase your fun side. So nothing boring, okay? Like if you're a lawyer and someone took a photo of you at your desk with mounds of paper, that's not fun for a girl to look at. All right? And I've heard from girls that guys do this. So, or, like just not tasteful pictures, right? Like you're in the gym, I don't know, with your shirt off or whatever. But you guys get the drift, okay? Tasteful photos go a long way, and professional photos. The thing about dating apps, it's so competitive. And not only that, only the top 20% of guys are getting all the right swipes. Okay. And if you're not a good looking guy, you're not going to do well on there. Or if you're an Asian guy like me, you're not going to do well on there. Asian guys just don't do well on dating apps. So that's why it's important for you guys, if you're Asian listening in, to really double down on the other things like social circle game, inner circle game, night game, day game, lifestyle game. You have to really, really double down on these things, because your dating apps aren't going to do you that much justice. Because like I said, Asians, unless you're like a really good looking Asian dude, and like maybe you're ripped or something, and you have like a sick lifestyle and you can showcase that. I've worked with guys like that actually, okay? And they do really well on them because yeah, because like I said, dating apps are all geared towards men who are in the top tier in terms of looks, okay? And like the thing about looks, you could be, I don't know, like middle of the pack and like really kill it with women. Like you might be getting like eights, nines, no problem, right? But you're in like middle of the pack when it comes to looks. You are like, you might do well on dating apps if you kind of like showcase your lifestyle. That's fun on there, okay? Where a girl can be like, "Oh wow, that's so fun." Like that would be, and she's picturing herself doing that with you, whatever it is. Like let's say it's like, I don't know, I have a rock climbing, like a bouldering video on my Hinge, okay? And girls are into that. So maybe a girl who could see herself like doing this with me, right? She could be like, wow, that's so cool. And I get a lot of comments on that actually. Um, so anyways, the point is dating apps you need to be optimized on there, okay? I said a little like a little bit of why on each. For Tinder, I would say it's a little bit geared towards more um, liberal, left-leaning, creative, and also like more of like a hookup app, if anything. So, you don't have to post all your professional photos on there. Bumble, excuse me, I would lean towards more professional on there, because girls are the ones that have to open their conversation on Bumble. So you want to have like, you know, inviting inviting photos for her to comment on. Okay, we'll talk a little bit about um, Hinge as well. So Hinge is sort of similar to Bumble. You want to be a little bit professional, but a little bit like Tinder, where you just kind of like, um, I don't know, less conservative and more liberal, right? Um, and the whole trick to these things is whenever you get a chance to write a bio or put in a prompt or put in like a caption for your photo, let's say. Let me back up. I only put the first three here, and there's more here. There's like coffee meets bagel. There's like Raya. You should be on like the sugar sites too, right? Not paying for it. Okay, don't pay for it. There's ways to set up your profile on those sites, um, so that girls know that you're not paying for it. Okay. Anyway, um, those are from my older people, like if you're older. But anyway, have all of them out there, okay? Have them all. Like seriously, have them all, and I'll go over the key to how to do them. Okay, and then have them all, and then whenever you're putting in a bio or you're having to put in a prompt or having to put in whatever, make sure it's funny. Okay, it has to be funny or creative or something that makes a girl wonder something about you. It has to be intriguing. It has to be either intriguing or funny. Okay, and because those are usually the openers to your conversations. Okay, that's going to be like the first line or whatever that you're going to talk about. Okay, I think I broke that down. I don't know, maybe did I? Hold on, I don't know if I went back to that, but either way, I don't know if I broke that down actually. I gotta go back to that. I do with my clients, but I basically I break down each thing, and it's like why you should put these prompts here and all that. But anyway, that's irrelevant. Just be funny, okay? Just be funny. That's the key. And also, if you're not a good looking person, just omit everything that I'm saying right now. Okay? If you rate yourself middle of the pack, right? Like me, you're not going to do well. If you're Asian, you're not going to do well. You have to be extremely good looking to do well on these apps. If you're a good looking guy and you're listening to this right now, then you do well. All right? But middle of the pack guys, not so well. You're gonna have to focus on social circle game, inner circle game, night game, day game, and lifestyle game. So I'll take a little minute just to break down these, and then we'll talk a little bit about like what we do once we get the match, okay? And then how do we build that into a relationship? Most of the time, you're leading, but you're not insinuating the relationship, okay? You never do that. But anyway. All right, we'll talk a little bit about social circle game first, which is people that you are acquaintances with. Okay, maybe I should put that in here. And the reason why they have to be acquaintances, did I even spell that right? Probably not. Whatever. Acquaintances. The reason why they have to be acquaintances is because they can't be your friends, and we'll talk about why. Okay. And the reason being is because you're not going to really take. So regardless, a lead is a lead, right? You're going to take a lead as a lead, but you're going to take better care of your inner circle friends. Okay. Why? Because your inner circle knows you, and they may have hooked you up with the girl. And so anyway, social circle game is just people who are not your friends, not like, right? This is like people you've met at a club, and then they had a friend, and you met that friend at another setting. You know what I'm saying? So that's social circle game. They have to be acquaintances and people that you just like. They're like kind of like a friend of a friend, basically. You wouldn't treat, and the reason why I put them separate as a subcategory is because you wouldn't really give them so much of your time and effort and whatever. Okay, because it's like, I don't know, they rarely work out, and those leads are always like lukewarm. They're never like really hot leads. You know what I mean? And that's kind of why I put them at the top. These aren't, and I rank the leads from best to worst to best. Okay. Anyway, so social circle game is just acquaintances, people like friends of friends, and you keep them kind of like as a plate, as Rolo would say, right? Rolo would always be like, you got to spin plates, have them spinning or whatever, right? Those people, you basically just like, all right, cool. I'll hang out with your friends and friends of friends, and you guys just hang out as a group all together or whatever. You should have people like that. Anyways, the next step of people are your inner circle, which is your friends. Sometimes your friends hook you up with other friends, okay? And so those people are really important to know as well. But you wouldn't treat them the same way as you would as your acquaintances. You would probably meet up with them, like, like let's say you met Dave or whatever, right? And Dave brings out Sally, okay? You might meet up Sally on like a one-on-one occasion or whatever, like, because you just met Dave, who cares? Like, but the thing about inner circle game is like, let's say like a friend of yours invited you out and invited another girl out, and then you guys meet, but he's obviously trying to like hook you two up or whatever, like secretly, and then you go from there. But you would treat that girl obviously a little bit with more care because it's your friend who put you guys together. And so that lead, again, we're going to advance that person a little bit differently versus somebody who you just meet in one of these situations. Okay. But the next set of group of people is the people that you run when you go out into like clubs or supper clubs or bars or anything that like is related to partying, nighttime lifestyle. Okay. Rarely are you ever really going to find the one there. Okay. It depends on like what events that you're kind of at. The club, hell no, for sure not. Okay, but maybe you're at some like banquet for some like wedding or event or something like bougie, let's say, or whatever, fancy, not like distasteful at all, and you meet a girl there. Hell yeah, she's for sure. You're not going to treat her like some ratchet girl you met at the club, and she's like half drunk. No, that girl, obviously you're going to treat her with a little bit of care. So night game isn't all about meeting girls at clubs or whatever, but still I put them here because it's still part of the funnel. And when you meet people, when you're doing something social, those leads are a lot more warmer than the ones that you meet on dating apps or social circle games. And that's why I put them still at number 4. Okay. So number 5 for day game, you want to have a lifestyle where you have a bit of routine, okay? And so let's talk about that, what that looks like. So let's say you wake up and you hit the gym. At the gym, you're talking up the girl or the guys at the counter. You make sure you guys know each other by name. Maybe you stop by on Halloween, let's say, or whatever, and you bring them all like trick-or-treating gifts or whatever as a thing, so they remember you, and they say, hey, Chad, or whatever, when you walk through the door. And so it makes it seem as if like, you're that guy, right? And then once you're done the gym, you say bye to them and you leave, right? You go home, you shower, and then you go to the drive-through and you're at I don't know. I was about to say Starbucks. That would have been bad right there. But let's say you're from Canada or whatever, and you're going through like the Tim Hortons or whatever, right? Same drive-through, same thing. Okay? The lady at the drive-through is probably going to be the same person. Same thing. Make sure you guys know each other by name, and you're probably going to order the same thing, okay? Have a routine. In these scenarios, though, right, in the midst of all of that, you're going to probably run into girls at that moment, right? Like, so in that same gym scenario, when you're giving the high five to the guy at the counter, there's a new hot girl working at the gym. She sees you doing that, okay? Contextually, you become like, who's that guy in her eyes, okay? And you start to become mysterious, okay? She's going to start to wonder about you. That's great. But anyway, let's say you're done work now, okay? Or you go to work, whatever, you do your thing. Let's say you're done, you go to lunch, same thing. You go to the deli or whatever, the Korean lady behind the deli counter, you know her name, she knows you, okay? You guys are all good, right? High five, right? You see a cute girl from some other workplace building or whatever, she sees you chatting up the Korean lady behind the counter, and she's just like, who's this guy? Why does everybody know him? Why is he so cheery and all the time, right? So you have these things that you do, and when you meet people in these settings, it becomes so much easier to talk to girls because you're not that weirdo, right? Like when you go to these places and you probably just like check in, you don't even say hi, you don't even like talk to anybody, right? Like you become this weirdo, this like introverted guy who lives in his basement kind of dude who just like, you know what I mean? And it's okay to be stoic and like what do you call it? Like people think like stern looking or whatever, like like you're standing on business or whatever, like that look. Like people think like that goes a long way with girls, and I'm saying like no. Yeah, maybe if you're like at a club, right, with your boys or whatever, and you're all mean mugging everybody, that might work, right? But for the most part, women want to feel safe, but they also want to have fun. And if you're like in these places, let's say, and you look like you're always having fun, you're always upbeat, you're always positive, you're always having a good time, right? It changes the energy of the room, and she can notice that of you, okay? And she's watching you become this, like everybody says, hey Chad, or hey Joe, or hey whatever your name is, you know what I mean? And like that's really important because it's again, you can transition right into like and I've seen guys do this, man. Like there'd be dudes just in the middle of ordering food hitting on chicks, you know what I mean? And so it's okay to do that, in my opinion. And then quickly you're going to be like, hey, what's your Instagram? I got no time to really talk or whatever, right? You hit her with that. Or what's your phone number? Sometimes you hit her with the phone number. But most of the time, you're just trying to put them through to the Instagram, okay? Um, and then the next part of where I think the best leads come from is lifestyle game. Okay. So whatever your hobbies are. I don't know what you guys like to do. I'm not sure what it is that you guys are fans of, okay, or what you guys grew up doing, okay? But make sure to pick something where you know that other females might be around or they are also interested in that same thing too. So, I don't know if you play tennis, like I said, or if you play, or if you're into snowboarding, or if you're into volleyball, like co-ed volleyball, that's a good place to meet women. Dragon boat racing. Um, that's like a good place to meet like 10 new people, and it's always like co-ed. Um, whatever your lifestyle is, okay, whatever you choose it to be, those people that you meet there, especially the girls that you have interest in, it becomes so much easier to hit on them because it's just so natural, right? Like maybe you're part of a running group and you guys show up every night at that same place together, right? And you just ask her a relatable question, like for example, something that you saw in the news or something that's in the movies or whatever. You find something out and you remember that quirk about her so that you can talk about it the next day when you see her again at that same running event or whatever that you guys have. Okay. And then that way you can be like, hey, do you have an Instagram actually? I'd love to, like continue this conversation or whatever. Hey, sure. Yeah. Here, take my number, or here, take it down, or here, take my number down. Right. It just becomes so much easier. Okay. So, um, where are we? Have I fucking blabbered on? I'm trying to do this. Okay. Damn. 46 minutes. Okay, I have been blabbering. Sorry. I try to keep these like an hour long. I'll get to the next part real quick. But Instagram, when you have them on Instagram, some people, this is where your leads go to die. Okay. So, one thing you have to be okay with is that this is where your leads go to die. Okay. Not everyone, once they see your page, okay, will like it. Okay. And that's why I say this is a numbers game. Okay. In order to sell, okay, in order to convert a woman to buy from you, let's say, right, basically go out on a date and, continue to go on that date, build rapport and connection, and then eventually sleep together, and then go on to have a relationship and kids and so on and so forth, right? But not everybody is going to want to live or jump into your lifestyle. So that's why I say it's important, right? Like if you're looking for kids and a legacy and getting married or whatever, then have your Instagram optimized for that. But if you're younger, let's say, and you're trying to have a little bit of fun and still trying to figure it out, and you're not trying to like settle down or get married or nothing or whatever, then post the pictures where you're in like, Cozumel or whatever, jumping off cliffs, or, like, I don't know, do whatever you got to do to make yourself look fun, right? Funny and exciting. Okay. So for a woman to want to come into that lifestyle. Okay. But whatever it is, but these are the warmest leads that you're ever going to get. But they also are the leads where they are going to come, eventually going to end up dying. Okay. And you have to be okay with that. And the reason why you have to be okay with that is because it creates the abundance mindset for you, right? So that once you get into contact with these girls, and she ends up rejecting you, because they are going to end up rejecting you, right? You're okay with it. Why? Because you have a constant flow of leads coming in. You don't know when, sometimes you don't know where, right? Because not every day, not all every weekend you should be going out and doing night game, right? Should at least try to aim like once or twice a month even. But day game is a given every day. Lifestyle is like, however many times you do that lifestyle, and dating apps are every day, right? Okay, so let's say you have 5 dating apps. Okay, spend 2 to 5 minutes on each one, swiping, okay, on each one. Tinder and Bumble is easier because you're just swiping, but Hinge, think of prompts to write. Okay, like actually write to them. You have to think of like a pickup line or something funny or cute that you saw on their thing. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about how to open. But anyway, um, Instagram is where your leads go to die, but they also get converted. Okay. And this is where you can build a lot of attraction. Okay. For women and mystery about you. Okay. Okay. This is how you get a girl to say yes to the first date. Okay. So let's say you meet a girl on a dating app. Okay. And you guys talk for a bit or whatever. And then you give her your Instagram. Okay. Boom. From the Instagram, right? It should really only take, okay, so one thing about the dating app, never really spend too much time talking on the dating app. Once you guys match, it should be 3-4 messages tops, and you're getting her to your Instagram. Okay. Like that's all you're focused on. Okay. Hey, I thought your photo was really cute. She's gonna be like, haha, thank you so much. Da, da, da. And she's not even gonna ask a question. Do you always do it? And then um do you always whatever have a reply. The third message be like, hey, do you have an Instagram? Or hey, let's continue this conversation over here. Here's my Instagram. Add me over there. Okay. The reason for that is because once you match, you want to keep the momentum high, but also you want to get her off the app. Why? Because there's 10,000 other chads with, trying to get at her on that app. So you don't want her thinking of you and 10 other guys or 15 other guys or 20 other guys. You want her thinking of just you. Okay. So you get her straight to that Instagram. Okay. If she's like, oh, I want to get to know you before, you say, I don't play it like that. Give me your Instagram. Let's chat on there. Okay. And kind of lead her that way. And if she's not, then you know what? She's a time waster and she's not going to come into your frame anyway. And those types of girls aren't even going to comply. So just get her out. You know what I mean? I don't care how hot she is. So your Instagram, from there, you're going to be building that familiarity with her. Okay. And you can do that sometimes with the phone or the coffee date. All right. So I have a 1 drink rule. I never, like, if you guys are like, I don't really drink alcohol, to be honest. Like, I used to be a big drinker. Don't get me wrong. Koreans, we drink. All right. We freaking drink. Not only do we drink, we love to freaking drink a lot. And we like to do that every weekend or every other day or whatever, pretty much. Like, we work hard, we play hard. But anyway, I have a 1 drink rule, and the reason being is because you don't want that first date to be any longer than an hour if you're out in real life, okay? Or if you're on a phone or like a phone date or a coffee date or whatever, like 45-30 minutes tops. And the reason being is because you don't want to create too much, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like, you don't want to come off too thirsty, okay? Right off rip. That's her job, okay? You want to be making sure that you're creating mystery in those moments. Sorry, I just had a brain fart there. You want to be making sure that in those moments you're creating mystery, while also building familiarity with who you are. So I have this thing, I wrote it in my book, obviously, but there's this chapter, I talk a little bit about, text and phone banter and how to kind of talk to women. And if you ever run out of things to say, like, what do I say to her? Like, what are the things that I'm asking, right? Like, so I don't know if you guys want to write this down, but go write this down. Ford. Okay. So Ford stands for family, occupation. What is the R? The R is her. What does she like to do for recreation? And then D is for her dreams. So you'll never run out of things to talk about if you have this anagram memorized, okay? Ford, which is family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. And I learned this in like a networking event, basically, like how to speed network with people, how to figure out what like if this person is worth networking with, okay, in these categories, because these pretty much align with your values, okay. So you would ask her like, oh, hey, are you close with your family? How many brothers and sisters do you have? Or, like, oh, are you divorced? Your parents are divorced? Who are you close to, your mom or your dad? Right? Those are all family questions, right? And then occupation is like, oh, so what do you do for work? Oh, do you like doing what you do? Like, is this what you would see yourself doing for the rest of your life or whatever? Right? And just have a brief conversation about her work. People love talking about themselves. So this is kind of like a job interview in this first phone coffee date, right? Like this one drink that you're having with this girl. Yes, you're building familiarity, but you're kind of like interviewing this chick. You know what I mean? Because you're like, you're not doing it in a way where it's like autistic or whatever. You know what I mean? You're doing it in a way where it's fun and not really like robotic, right? You have this stuff memorized, great, but you're not doing it in order, or you're not doing it like, off a piece of paper, right? It's just natural. This stuff comes natural to me now because I've done this so many times. But you say, oh yeah, like, are you close with your family? Do you have any brothers or sisters? Right? Cool. You get a kind of like idea of her family tree. Cool. You don't have to talk about like all of her fucking like, past or nothing like that. But anyway, her occupation and then her recreation is like, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you like to do on your spare time? I'm curious, right? And then dreams is, what do you want? Where do you see yourself? Like, no, you don't use that. I hate that question. It's like, so do you like, kids, or, you know what I mean? Like, or, like you just get a feel for like, what is she like trying to do for the future, right? Is she trying to like travel and be single for the rest of her life? Or is she trying to settle down and have kids? Right? Like, what dreams does she have in her future? Okay. The reason why you rip the band-aid off of these questions, is because you're going to figure out whether or not you're going to go on a first date with her. Because if none of these are aligned, okay, this is what we call compatibility. Okay, if none of these are aligned, you're not going to have, like, yeah, you're going to, like, let's say none of these are aligned. This is where you're the compatibility check, right? Like, you're basically just checking for compatibility here. Okay, chemistry plus compatibility equals connection. If you don't have both, it's not a connection. Okay, if you have one, it's not a connection. So you could be compatible and then you guys meet on the first date and there's no chemistry. Okay, and then you're back to square one with another girl, right? You're trying to put her through the funnel and do this thing. Okay, so you're going to talk to her about these things and put her on the first date. Okay, are you guys compatible? Great. Then ask her out on the first date. The first date is you're just building safety and comfort with her. You're not trying to do any like funny stuff, right? Unless like in obvious, like, guys who are really advanced, okay, they could probably sleep with a girl on the first date, right? But for most guys, you're not going to do that. And most chicks, they don't want to do that because they don't want to come off like they're some slut or whatever, okay? So the first date, you're really just trying to build comfort and safety with her. So pretty much just comfort and safety. That's all you're really trying to do. Best way to do that, dinner date. One of my favorites, okay? You go to a place where you want to eat, all right? And you invite her in on the place that you want to check out. Make sure you have reservations. Make sure, say, hey, it's kind of like a fancy place, so you got to like dress up or whatever, right? This is after you figured out you guys are compatible. You're not just going on a first date with a girl because she's hot. Okay, don't do that. Okay, you got to build that compatibility with her. And I'm telling you, do this on the phone or do it with a quick coffee date or a quick 20-minute, 30-minute drink. Okay, and that's it. Talk about these 4 things, figure out whether or not you're compatible, and then you can move on to the first date. Okay, I don't really consider this the first date. Okay, this is more or less like, you know, just the consultation. All right, and then this is like the first date. So you go to either a nice fancy dinner or whatever. Way easy to build comfort and safety because most girls, they're not trying to fuck after they just eat. Some girls are, some girls aren't, most girls aren't. But usually when you go out to eat, she's not really thinking about sex. She wants to go to sleep. You know what I'm saying? But some girls are, like I said. But it all depends on what level of game you are at and how good your game is. Okay. But again, for most guys, probably not. Okay. So after that, you build comfort and safety. She's like, this guy's such a gentleman. He pulls out my chair and he hugs me, and he doesn't he's not pulling any weird moves on me or whatever, right? And it's not because like she doesn't want to, guys. Like she's on a first date with you. You guys have already passed this. She's on a first date with you. She wants to fuck, okay? There's no doubt in her mind that she wants to fuck. It's just that you have to be patient. You can't rush it because if you rush it in this stage and she wants to fuck and you ruin it for her and she gets the ick somehow, okay? You ruined it. Okay, there's no amount of dates that's going to change that, and she's just going to have compliant transactional sex with you at that point. It's not like desirable sex that she's wanting to have. Okay, so that's what the first date is all about. Okay, you're building that comfort and safety because you want to make sure that your chemistry is on point. Okay, there's things flying, you know what I mean? Sparks flying, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, you got to make sure that there's sparks flying. And I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the chemicals. Actually, maybe I'll do that on another stream. I don't know, but we'll see. But basically, you're just trying to really just create that spark here. Okay, maybe you guys are holding hands. Maybe you guys have a little peck on the cheek when you guys leave or at night or whatever. But regardless, it all depends on your level of game. Okay, like I said, and there's ways to kind of elevate or escalate that in ways via what I call the touch ladder. But I didn't really come here to talk about that, which is like another. It's my take on Kino. Okay, Kino is just how to escalate the touch with a woman. Okay, that's what you're kind of doing on the first date with her. All right. Sometimes you get all the way through. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you get like a little handhold, and that's all you get. Okay. Or sometimes you get a little peck on the lips, and that's all you get. Sometimes you get a full makeout session, sometimes, or that's all you get. Sometimes you get a full-on blowjob, but that's all you get. Okay. But regardless, you're building comfort and safety in that first date. The second date, all right, ideally is a date where you're having fun. So no more dinner, no more sitting down, getting to know each other, like flirting and none of that, okay? You're going to continue the flirting, but you're going to do it in such a way where you guys are having fun. So I don't know. I like, out here in the West Coast, right, in the summer, I like bringing girls hiking on a second date. And the reason why is because you can escalate even more out there and also flirt and have fun while all the endorphins are running from the hike and you're getting your exercise. Plus, if you're anything like me, I like to do summit hikes where at the top you get this amazing view. Not only that, you can eat and have a lunch with her and have a date and sort of escalate up there as well. Okay, and have like a makeout session or whatever, because it's like so romantic for her, right? And you're kind of setting this mood. I feel like I'm outing myself, guys, honestly. Like, girls are gonna watch this stream and they're gonna be like, oh, you're just doing this because you know what I'm saying. So I hope you guys take this information and really honestly do well with it. because I'm gonna lose credibility with these chicks, all right, if they ever find this content. But that's why I switched up my name anyway, regardless. Okay, the third date is the home date. Okay, so if you haven't had sex yet, this is what I'm saying. If by the first or second date you guys have already had sex or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like scrap the third date. Don't even worry about what I'm saying here. But let's say the first and second date, you guys haven't had sex yet, but you guys have flirted, you guys have escalated, you guys have kissed, all that. If you haven't escalated at this point, this girl is a time waster. She's probably a dinner digger. She's probably stringing you along for some reason, okay, because she likes your attention. But you're not gonna go on any more dates with her, okay? If she's not responding to your flirting, right? So if you don't like try to like, you grab her hand and she like takes it away or whatever, you know what I mean? Um, I don't know, you try to bring her close to you, but she goes away from you, right? Or you try to go for the kiss good night and she goes away from you, like she turns away from you. If she's doing all that, it it's one of two things. She's not really into you, or you just haven't built enough comfort and safety for her just yet. Okay. But for me, I try not to waste much time with girls who aren't responsive in that first or second date when I'm trying to advance my flirting or I'm trying to escalate my touch, right? If she's not responding to any of that, then I don't go on thirds or fourth, fifth dates with these girls, because those types of girls are very manipulative. They're just trying to get whatever they want out of you. They know what they're doing, okay, and they might play dumb if you confront them. But for the most part, I just try to get those girls away as fast as I can. Okay, she might have passed the first few fortresses that you had up, but she's not going to get past any more after that, right? So okay, so let's say you haven't smashed on the first date. The second date really went well though. You guys like made out or whatever. Things got really hot and heavy, but because you guys were out and about, you guys can't really just like smash right there. So you take her home, right? You guys have a great night. You guys make out. Boom. Third date though, you guys obviously escalating on text. You're gonna be like, hey, I want you to come over. I'm gonna make this or whatever. I got takeout or and then we're gonna watch this movie or whatever. And you're already insinuating what it is, right? If you've already built rapport with her in that stage, obviously you could be like, um, you know what I'm saying? Like you could obviously be like, oh, you're welcome to stay over for the weekend, so you're not like drinking and driving, let's say, right? I have a spare room, and then you could say dot dot dot, but we're not having sex, right? That's one of the lines that I like to use because it's like, it's just funny to her because she's like in her mind she's thinking, yeah, okay, right, let's see about that, buddy. You know what I mean? So and then regardless, it's just funny, and it makes her want to come to that home date to see if you really are a man of your word, which you're not. You're not going to be in that situation. Okay, for the most part you're going to be a man of your word, but when it comes down to that point, you're not. All right. And so you're really just gonna set the mood and the stage for you guys to smash, and then the fourth date is pretty much just rinse and repeat. You're pretty much doing all of this again and again and over and again. Okay, so that's pretty much stage 12 into this thing. Okay, so like at the top here, you're going to be constantly putting leads in, all right, through lifestyle, your day, night, inner circle, social circle, and your dating apps. Get them on a phone date, maybe like a FaceTime or like an Instagram chat on FaceTime or whatever. Get her on a coffee date if she's not into that, or like have one drink with her. Have this conversation. Cool, you guys are compatible. Okay, first date. Sparks fly. Okay, damn, there's chemistry and compatibility. Then chances are there's a connection here down the road. Okay, so the second date, you have fun, make out, whatever. kiss, third date, home, smash, and then again, fourth date, you're kind of rinsing and repeating over here. So in this stage, the woman should be infatuated with you. She can't wait to message you back. She can't wait to see you. She can't wait to like you can tell that this woman wants all of your time, all of your attention. Okay. And that's usually the sign of a healthy woman, because a woman who can't give who gives into her feminine urges to be like so infatuated with you, she's not going to stop in these stages. Okay, in the 6 to 8 week stage, sorry, what are I this the 2nd to 8 week stage. By 2 months, by month 2, if she's not like fully in love with you, then you're not doing this correctly. Okay, chances are you're doing something here where she feels just comfort, or it's just blah. It's just one tone, one note, and you're not giving her this incline of you're not giving her this incline of what she should expect from you, right? Sorry, that's not the right word. Not what she expects from you, but more or less like how you're setting the tone for her to climb on this journey or this mountain with you. Okay, there, that's better. If she's not in like clearly, like if she's not in love with you by this stage, then again, you're doing something wrong. Your game is not airtight. Because by this stage, she should be head over heels in love with you by this stage. All right. I did a stream about love, and it's not the same as how we would love somebody. A woman loves you in totally different ways. Okay. It's what you do for them, like I said. Okay. And in this dating stage, or this courtship phase, I call it, right? When you're doing stuff for her, right? Most likely you're always, if you're trying to bring a woman into your frame, you need to be paying. Okay. Most of the time, you're setting up all of these things for, and you're leading, you're setting up the dates, you're doing all the things that you need to do. Okay. And you're setting the frame for her to come into. Okay, and making sure that all the dates are fun, that you guys are having time to smash as well, right? But more often than not, right? And then creating that comfort, connection, chemistry, compatibility, all that, all the fucking chemicals should be sparking and flying at this moment. Okay, you will never be asking her the question of like, hey, so what are we, or hey, I think I should take you off the market, or whatever. I mean, that is up to her to come to you for that. Okay, so you never have that conversation with her. So the DTR, or as the women would say, determining the relationship. Okay, that should be from her. Okay, DTR equals determining the relationship. And that should never come from you. You should never be the one saying, hey, what are we? Right? Like, don't ever do that in any part of this stage, ever. Okay? That's up to her. And a healthy woman, by week 6, by week 7, or whatever, she's going to be like asking you, like, so what are we? Like, you guys have smashed, obviously, like 4, 5, 6 times by that time. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys have smashed by the third date, which you should be doing, if you haven't smashed by the third date, this girl's probably really lukewarm, and she's not feeling you, bro. You guys should be trying to rip each other's clothes off either by the second or third date. Okay. And then also having sex on all these weeks. But by like week 6, week 7, she should be like worried, like, why is this guy not asking me, like, whatever, right? Like, why is she not Like, why is he not asking me to be his girlfriend and blah, 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 blah. And that's not your job. Your job is just to be the man and keep being the man and bringing her on these fun excursions or whatever. And you could be doing this with multiple chicks, mind you, right? You could be having this, let's say you just multiply this by like 3, and you're having 3 funnels with 3 different girls and they're at 3 different stages. That's completely that's completely fine for you, right? Whatever your goal is. But by week 6, week 7, week 8, she should be like really fucking like the hamster wheel should really be going, and she should be like, hey, so what are we? Okay. So you should never determine the relationship. That's something that the females, like the female dating coaches on TikTok, you'll see they'll be like, yeah, girl, you should never ask, like, you know what I mean? And it's like, you should always have the guy ask you what you guys are. And it's like, I fucking laugh, bro. I can't not laugh when I see those TikToks. It's hilarious, right? So us as guys, okay, we need to take the power back in the relationship. And not only that, we have to have the woman in our frame. Otherwise, the relationship is going to go downhill. If you have her leading the relationship, okay, like it's just not going to work. What does Myron say? Like, if you have a girl leading the relationship, she's just going to lead you to the end of the relationship, right? And I agree with that, right? So you can never have that girl lead. The girl doesn't even understand what the like she's going to eat for the next day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's up to you to figure out all the dates and have, all of that lifestyle set up so that she comes into your life, not the other way around. Okay. And obviously, if you guys smashed a few times here or there and she wants to plan one of the dates, fine, whatever. Okay. um that's actually a good sign that when let's say you've had like 4 or 5 dates, and then out of nowhere she wants to plan the 6th, she pays for everything and da 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 da. That's actually a really good sign if a girl does that for you. That's a good girl. That's somebody who you want to keep long term, right? That's a green flag if anything. But yeah, like abundance mindset is the biggest thing, and the reason why you should have an abundance mindset is because inevitably these chicks are going to come to you with some shit. They're going to bother you with some shit, and you cannot let that get to you, right? I talked about stoicism earlier in the stream, and because it's important for us to, and stoicism doesn't mean you're devoid of emotions. People take that the wrong way, and I think it gets such a bad rap because a lot of girls, they think like, oh yeah, you're just trying to make guys like devoid of emotions. I'm like, no, you know girls sorry, guys have the same range of emotion just as women do. Okay, but the difference is we respond to them differently, and not only that, we get to compartmentalize them, and we get to choose whether or not we're going to respond. Okay, so being stoic doesn't mean that you can't be funny, you can't be like, having fun or anything like that. It's acknowledging the emotion or whatever. It's just choosing which ones you're going to respond to. So if you're in a situation where, hey, I know my threats aren't of that degree or whatever, and I can kind of lower my guards and have fun, then you're gonna turn that notch on. But if you're in a situation where there's like a people mean mugging you and stuff like that, probably not gonna be doing that, right? So situational awareness, abundance, and social acuity, all these things, right? Like these are things that money can't buy. You can buy a social circle game, like sorry, you can buy a social circle, you can buy your friends for a bit, but like none of that stuff will last. Okay, but the things that do last are those things, right? Having that abundance mindset, having the ability to be like, look, I'm so confident in who I am. I know that if this bitch right here is not giving me the attention that I need, or the attention that I want, sorry, not the attention that I need, the attention that I want, then she needs to either, get to the back of the line, or she can smarten up. And if she really wants me around, because I'm, like, and this is the thing, right? Like, you have to be working towards building your value in this game of life, okay? Right? The quote unquote high value man, right? Like you have to build yourself up constantly to be a man of value so that when you do deploy this and you do start meeting girls and you start going on these dates with them and um, she sees your value and again she's trying so hard to lock you down in a relationship, okay? And so depending on your strategy, whatever it is, regardless, at the end of the day it should be her coming to you and asking the question, so what are we? That should be her. All right. Damn, I talked for goddamn too long. Let me see here. An hour and 20 minutes. And I'm supposed to keep these like an hour. And I did not do that. All right. But that's all I have for tonight's stream. Honestly, like just hopefully you guys get what I'm trying to say here. And this is just a rule of thumb. This is not like, oh, I'm gonna do this because, you know, like first, like, no, this is just a rule of thumb. Have this in the back of your mind so that dating is less complicated, right? You're not wondering, okay, what am I gonna do for the third or fourth date? You know, you already fucking know. I told you, okay? You know what you're trying to do on the first date. You know what you're trying to do on the second date. You know what you're trying to do on the third date. You know what you're doing up here, right? So when you look at it, this stuff becomes so much easier, right? Because all of this is optimized. You know what you're trying to do. Because the end goal is to find that girl, right? Not the one, okay, but a girl who's passed every compliance test or everything that you have dubbed her, you know, put her through all, you know, like the rigor of figuring out the girl that you want to keep around for a long time, okay? You went through all this. This is a long time. This is a lot of effort. It looks short here, but this is a lot of like, there's a lot of nuance in here, okay? Tons of nuance in here, right? But when you do this right, you find a quality girl at the end of it, okay? And usually this timeline serves right. Like this timeline is usually true when it comes to like human interaction, human dating. And try to space these dates about a week apart, 2 weeks apart sometimes. You know what I mean? Like we're not always available. Okay? Don't be trying to like squeeze in 3 of these in 1 week. That's ridiculous. What kind of mystery are you going to build? Not only that, like you understand that when you guys go first, like head first into something, the faster you go at it, the faster you're gonna fall. You know what I'm saying? The harder you crash. So just take it slow. All right. Don't rush into things. Okay. That's part of the push-pull dynamic, as part of, you know, building attraction and building desire. Okay. Don't just like rush right into it, because like I said, anything that like whenever I come across like my clients or people that are even just people that I know, let's just say, right? And you might even think of this yourself, where you were in a situation where things went really well, really fast, right? And you're like, oh yeah, this is amazing. And then it just fizzled out even faster, right? All I can picture is like you blowing up a balloon and then just forgetting to tie it, and that balloon just like going halfway across the room. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how many times, even me, I've been in that situation, right? So we need to kind of slow it down a little bit, right? First date, second date, third date, space them out. Okay? And you could be going through this with multiple girls. So it's not like you have to be, you know, doing this with one chick and putting all your eggs into one basket. No. This is part of plating, right? Plate theory. This is part of multi-dating, right? That's what these girls do. These girls are doing the same funnel with all guys, right? They're already doing this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sally's already on date number 2 with date guy number 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's on date number 3. She's already slept with, like, I hate thinking about this shit, but it's true. You know what I mean? She's already done the home date with fucking Jerry. You know what I'm saying? And you're just trying to get on that first date with her because maybe the sex wasn't that good and she's just thinking, fuck, I need to get out. So, anyways, chemistry and compatibility equals connection. Okay. Chemistry is found in when you first meet, when you guys are like, when the dopamine is flowing, right? Or the serotonin levels, right? When they're going up and down, right? It's the happiness. I think serotonin is the happiness hormone. So, yeah, like when those that's what I mean by chemistry. When those chemicals are flying everywhere. Like, I know you guys have been on a date with like a really hot chick. I don't know if you haven't, but like, and the chemistry is going. You're like, oh my god, this girl's so hot. She's probably thinking the same thing about you. You guys are both excited, right? You guys are always talking, like, you know what I'm saying? That's chemistry. You don't even realize that that's what's happening, but your freaking brain is firing off all these chemicals, right? You're just getting like shot with all these things. And the reason why I say the second date have fun is because that is a chemical trick that I'm trying to build right there. It's releasing endorphins, okay? So remember when I say build comfort and safety? Well, how are you going to do that? Right? Well, a good way, second date, is just to have fun. It releases endorphins. When endorphins are released, it contributes to this overall sense of just well-being. She feels safe. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about chemically, why it's important on these things. Okay. There's a reason why I studied this shit. All right. And there's a reason why I put it like this. Okay. It just makes logical sense. Not only that, the woman doesn't even realize you're doing this. Okay. She doesn't, but you're taking her on this like crazy roller coaster and she can't wait to fuck you at the end of it. Okay. So this is kind of like how you take her through that whole process without looking like, like you're some creep or whatever. Okay. And this will really make her, and be careful because this will really make her fall in love with you. All right. This is how you make a girl fall completely head over heels, batshit crazy for you. All right. So now that my single dating life is now over, because any girl who sees this now, she's going to be like, Rob, you're a fucking asshole. You're doing this and you're gaming us and you're doing all these things. Like, you're this manipulative narcissist or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here gonna take one in, like, I'm gonna be taking one for the team because I really want guys to really get it this year. Whatever it is, maybe you're looking for that one. Maybe you're looking for that girl to kind of like finally settle down with, right? Like, I really want to find that one baddie. How do I get her, right? So, if you're in your 20s though, right, you shouldn't really thinking too much about marriage, but you can take a girl through this if you want, um, and have, like some long-term ish type relationships with her, but you're not really trying to like settle down or get married in your 20s. It's all about getting in the bag in your 20s, okay? But knowing this and having this is important because, like, again, who the fuck is going to teach you this in school? You know what I mean? But if you're in your 30s or whatever and you're looking for wifey, this is something that you could take along with you. And like I said, do well with it. I really do hope you guys do well with it, right? Build up your social circle, build up your inner circle, right? Do all these things. Because again, like, if you really want to be him, you want to be that guy this year, right? Do it all for the right reasons, because at the end of all this is a good woman who's deeply in love with you. She might bear your children, right? And that's how you leave your legacy. That's going to be the mom of your children. Mom of your kids is right here. Okay? So there is another thing after all this. Like, what do we do after the honeymoon phase, right? Like, there is a little stuff after that, but just get all this stuff in order first. This is a lot of work. You know what I mean? This takes a guy about a year, even, just to get all this optimized, I would say. And I'm being pretty generous. You know what I'm saying? Some guys take longer, right? A guy, you could do this probably within like 3 months. Okay. But getting all of this optimized is the goal in terms of the relationship side of things. Okay. And this is kind of like back of mind. It's not front of mind. It's kind of all back of mind. You know what I'm saying? Let me see how long I've been streaming here. An hour and 30. Damn, son. God damn, son. All right. So, that pretty much brings us to the end of this stream. That was a pretty good stream. I don't say so myself. All right. So, shout out to everybody who tuned in live to watch the stream. Hope you guys got some value out of it. I will let you guys know when I start the new segment. So, I'm doing 2 new segments. Like I said, we're doing that Instagram thing, and then we're also going to do Side Hustle Saturdays, where I'm also going to be in addition to the live stream. I think I'm going to post maybe 1 or 2 every month, but basically it's going to be another segment, and it's going to be like professionally recorded and edited outside of my live streams. It's going to be a side hustle kind of thing where, you know, we learn how to figure out like what side hustles work, what's actually, you know, what it takes, right? How much effort's involved, because if you don't see it in front of you, some guys might get afraid, or they get into analysis paralysis mode and they don't even start. So that's what I want guys to not do this year, where they just like think about, like, they say they want to do something. They're like, yeah, this year I'm going to like open up a wrap business, or this year I'm going to do a car detailing business, or yeah, this year I'm going to do like a pressure washing business, or oh, this year I'm going to do like a furniture flipping business or whatever, right? And like, I hear guys talk about all this stuff, like, you know, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, but they never do. And I think it's because, look, I've been there. A lot of guys, like, they get stuck in that analysis paralysis mode, but they also like get fearful, like, oh, what if I fail? Da 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 da. So, excuse me. Side Hustle Saturdays is going to be something that I'm going to try to produce. Not try, but I'm going to do my best to produce this where I can showcase people that are making money. Not only that, like, I'm gonna do some of the stuff too. Like, I don't know, I think for the first episode I might do some furniture flipping. We'll see, right? Or I might do some electronic flipping. But we're gonna do something kind of creative to be like, okay, how can I make extra cash every month? Because it's tough out there, like with all the inflation and everything, right? So how can I, like, aside from my regular job, how can I make more money? So that's what Side Hustle Saturdays is going to be. And then we're also going to do the Rate Your Instagram with hot chicks. And that's pretty much it. My book's going to be out. And so make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe to all of this stuff. You keep up to date with the release of the book. And then once that book is out, that's when I'm going to release Base Nation, okay? The community where we all come in and we join, and I don't know, maybe I'll just set up the Discord first so we can meet electronically, because I know in there we can do like live chats and stuff like that too. So that'll be kind of cool. Maybe I can get some of my past clients to come in as well, and maybe talk to some of the guys and you know, you guys can see some of the progress that these guys have made. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm proud of some of my past clients, man. Like, I don't really like put their lives out there because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's their life. Some of these guys are doing amazing with their lives. And, you know, having them come into the Discord to show you guys, like, holy shit, like, you know, it's possible or whatever. Like, you know, he was just a regular dude, but now he's like this or whatever. Or like, you know, one dude I know came in, he's just like divorced. He's like, yeah, I want a baddie. I want a baddie. I want a baddie. That's it. Teach me how to get a baddie. That's it. That's all I want to know. And like within like months, he got a baddie. You know what I mean? So it's not hard. It's just it's difficult to put all of these things in working order. Okay? Um but once you have all of that foundation set up in working order, then it becomes easy. Okay? So yeah, so maybe I'll get some of my past clients to come talk about, you know, some of their experiences working with me and, you know, some of the things that they achieved while working with me as well. So so you guys can kind of see, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not capping out here. Like I do know what I'm talking about, and I really do care for you guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want you guys to win out there. I know what it's like, man. I've been in the trenches. Like, I know what it's like. I know what it's like to be down and out. All right. I lived out of my car for a bit. All right. I know what that's like too. So, and I don't wish that on anybody, man. If you guys are out there like going through that shit right now, just know that I got you. Um, you know, so we'll when I get all that stuff all in order, um, hopefully you guys join up. All right. Make sure you guys join up. Not hopefully. Make sure you guys join up. Yeah. So the next stream is probably gonna be Tuesday. I gotta get working on that side hustle thing. So I'm kind of like in the background already kind of like creating content for it already. I think I'm gonna do the furniture flipping one first. And see how much money we make on the furniture flipping, because I know people are making money on it right now. So but yeah, that's all I have for you guys tonight. Hopefully you guys, damn, it's 11 o'clock here on the West Coast. So I'm probably going to call it. And then I'll see you guys back here on Tuesday. So Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. Okay, that's the new schedule. So all right, Robb Based signing off. I'll see you. Peace.